Hi, dear attendees, and thanks for joining our webinar from the series of the subject webinars. Today, we are going to talk about study bioscience and bioengineering in Germany. My name is Georgi. We have lots of guests today, lots of interesting programs to be presented. That's why I will not talk a lot. Usually I don't talk a lot, but today I will talk even less. Let me quickly share with you my presentation and share with you agenda. So we will start with Uni Freiburg. We have Professor Dr. 𝘱𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀, who will introduce to you the study program in Master of Science study program in Biomedical Sciences. Then we'll move to Hochschule Rheinwald or Rheinwald University of Applied Sciences. We will have Professor Dr. 𝘱𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀𝑡𝑡𝑡, and he will talk about Bachelor of Science level program in Biomaterial Science. Then we'll move to Uni Bayreuth, and Dr. Hendrik Bargel is with us. He will introduce to you Master's program in Biofabrication, and then we'll close the show with University of Hanover. Manmeet Singh is with us, and he will also introduce to you Master Science level program in Optical Technologies. So, that being said, let us move to the very south of Germany, to Uni Freiburg. And Professor Dr. 𝘱𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀𝑡𝑡𝑡 now will talk about biomedical science.
So welcome to my presentation on the International Master of Science Biomedical Sciences, abbreviated IMBS, which is a master study program between the University of Buenos Aires and the University of Freiburg. And this is why it's a double master degree. So you're getting two master degrees for the same studies. It exists since 2008. Since 2018, it's a double degree, and you study on these two sites in Buenos Aires and Freiburg. And the goal is to basically train biomedical scientists which bring experience from the bench to the bedside. So it's very applied with a lot of practical courses. The students come from all over the world. We have not only Argentinians and Germans, but basically from 20, 30 different countries all over the world. This is the structure of the program. So as I said, there are two master titles for the same program. It's a non-consecutive master study at the medical faculty of Freiburg and the medical faculty and the faculty of pharmacy and biochemistry in Buenos Aires. Non-consecutive means that in order to enter the program, you need a 1-year work experience. So you cannot just enter from the bachelor right away, but you need some experience, either have a master already or some working experience. Both sides have language courses, so you learn German and Spanish. And it's actually structured not in 4 semesters, but in 3 trimesters. So it's 8 months curriculum, which gives a standard of 120 credit points. So the process is that you apply via our homepage. And then, so usually we have about 120 applications per year. We select 15 to 20. You need at least a 3 to 4 years bachelor degree with excellent good grades. You need a B2 English. And as I said, you need at least a 1-year work experience. The application deadline is always on the 30th of September, but we also take later. The problem is always visa, because you need a visa for starting in Buenos Aires. And so that could become a little bit short because it starts in March. But usually application deadline 30th of September. So you start in Buenos Aires with a winter school. It will be winter there. 1st of March, which just started the new cohort this month for 8 months. Then you switch over to Freiburg, which is also a winter school. So you come here in November. And then you basically, after the modules, you do lab rotation for 2 months, which you select a lab and you do some practical work in a lab, which afterwards you get an intermediate exam, which is a diploma of advanced studies. This is not a master, but it's a diploma of our continuous education program in Freiburg. So you get an additional degree in addition to the 2 master degrees, which is a diploma of advanced studies. During that time, you can apply for stipends. So we always have DAD stipends, either surplus in Buenos Aires or Deutschlandstipendium in Freiburg. But they are no guarantee. So you have to apply and only the best will get it. But we have every year, we have up to 10 different stipends. Then you move into the master thesis. So the master thesis you can either do in Freiburg or in Buenos Aires. So you can either stay here and continue into the master thesis, or you switch back to Buenos Aires. This is another 8 months. And for the time of the master thesis here, you get a so-called 𝘱𝑉, a small job contract of 520 euro per month to support you in your living expenses. In Buenos Aires, unfortunately, this is not the case, but if you do the master thesis here, you can get this. Then you do the master thesis defense, usually in Freiburg, if you do the master thesis here, at 𝘱𝑢𝑏, if you do the master thesis in Buenos Aires. We have co-jury between the two universities via Zoom. So it's in presence, but via Zoom, the others participate. So you get your double degree. So on both sides, the study is accredited, 𝘗𝑢𝑪 in Buenos Aires, and we just got a re-accreditation till 2030 here in Freiburg. And afterwards, of course, you have the possibility to either do a PhD here or a PhD in 𝘱𝑢𝑏 or anywhere else. Our study has tuition fees. So, so it's a non-consecutive master study. So you pay tuition fees for the 2 years program on both sides. For international students, it's a 900 euro per month for the first 16 months. Then it's reduced half for the master thesis. If you're Argentinian and German graduates, then it's half. So we pay 450 and 225. And if you actually have a certificate from 𝘱𝑢𝑏 or from Freiburg, you can either reduce that further to 225 or 150. This is because it is a master study between 𝘱𝑢𝑏 and Freiburg, and between Argentina and Germany. That's why we reduce the fees for Germans and for students from 𝘱𝑢𝑏 and Freiburg. As I said, you can apply for financial support. So as you see, if you get a DAD stipend, then basically it covers your tuition fee. If you have a reduced tuition fee, it's even better. So you get about 1,000 euro per month for the studies in Buenos Aires. You get 934 in Freiburg. We also pay the flight to come to Germany. And there's also some fellowships from the 𝘸𝑪𝑐𝑎𝑑𝑒misches Hochschulzentrum, which we have 4 per year, which has similar contributions. There's also possibility for additional fellowships, which you can apply to the 𝘗𝘯𝑪𝑐𝑎𝑑𝑒mische Foundation here in Freiburg. So this is the structure. So basically, you see the topics are very biomedical oriented. So you have from biophysics, bioenergetics, biochemistry, physiology, pharmacology, pathology, clinical medicine, up to experimental models. That's the part in Buenos Aires. So you see it's very much into medicine. In Freiburg, you continue then basically with similar topics, but more applied. So here you really have a lot of practical work, but you also have something like biostatistics and artificial intelligence, which is kind of new. You also have a module in bioethics, which has become more and more important in our studies. And as I said, you also have these laboratory research, 2 months of rotations before you enter then the master thesis. We also have electives, so you can choose, because the others are mandatory. Here you can choose some modules. We have very attractive ones, such as gene editing, CRISPR, TALEN, then flow cytometry analysis, FACS, artificial intelligence, machine learning is new, and the kind of specific elective, the decellularization of the cornea. The master thesis, as I said, a duration is 8 months, and during this time you select a particular topic, which then you work on, you get data, and you write your master thesis, which you defend afterwards. So basically, there's a written document, and then you also have a 30 minutes defense followed by 30 minutes discussion in the end of the studies. You have a thesis director, which is either Freiburg or Buenos Aires, and the respective co-director of the other university. Very important is you're supervised on multiple levels during this master program. During the modules, there will be, of course, teachers, not only professors, but additional postdocs and doctoral students that supervise you. You will be able to evaluate each module, and we also evaluate you, of course, so both sides with respective feedbacks. We give you a mentoring regarding the choice of the lab research. So when you choose your lab rotation and your thesis project, you may need us to tell you where are the good master thesis projects. Then we have regular meetings with the program coordinator to solve personal issues. There, as you may think, there's a lot of problems with visa and finances and career choices because you move from one to the other country and you need visas for both countries if you're not German or Argentinian for the respective country. During the master thesis, you have, of course, supervision by the thesis director and his or lab members and the co-director. And something that we introduced 4 years ago is rehearsal. So every 2 months, you present your research progress to the management, to the directors, the co-directors, so that we see how far you are, and we can actually then adjust your master thesis so that you, in the end, you can get very good results to have a good master thesis and a good defense. We have courses in presentation and writing techniques, so we have some soft skill courses. We have also a course in intercultural training and in scientific communication. And of course, we help you in the submission of thesis plan and thesis draft. And finally, also career mentoring courses for the next step, which is the PhD or an industry job. We have some social events. We always have a symposium in Freiburg and in Buenos Aires. In Buenos Aires, it's actually also often with an invited Nobel laureate from Germany who gets a doctor honoris causa. Then, of course, we have the master thesis defenses. We have a graduation ceremony. In Freiburg, it's actually a very traditional one with gowns and hats, which is not so usual anymore, but we still do it. And then, of course, we have a lot of social events with the professors and the INDS students from different cohorts. This is our success rate. So since the beginning, we have 166 master certificates, of which 53 double degree. The double degree is since 2020, where they finished for the first time with a double degree. About 25% do not go into PhD, so they get a job in industry, university or public sector, but 75% of the graduates start a PhD in Germany, in Argentina or elsewhere. That's it. Here are our supporters. We are supported, as I said, by the DAD with the stipends, by the Deutsch-Argentinisches Hochschulzentrum, by the 𝘱𝘀𝘪𝘵 Foundation, and of course, it's always important to have the support from the German embassy in Buenos Aires. And we also have a collaboration with the Hochschule Furtwangen, which is close to Freiburg. Here is our homepage where you can apply, online application, and you get further information there. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to your questions later.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Professor Borner, for a very interesting presentation. And let us now move to our next speaker. So let us now move to Rheinwald University of Applied Sciences. And we have Professor Dr. Chetcliffe, and he will now talk about undergraduate level program in biomaterials science.
Chetcliffe from Rheinwald. Our course is called Biomaterials Science. And we're on the last page. I just noticed that. So this is the first page. It's the obligatory campus picture. I guess the other guy showed you already a picture of their campus. This is ours. What you can see here is that ours is comparatively new. That's about all you can see here. It's kind of a normal standard university campus. As most of our courses are taught in English, the library, which is this building in the middle that says Allgemeine on it, is mostly filled with English material. That's ours. Those are our students, and we've got some water. This is where we are. It's on the border to Holland, right? And we call it the heart of Europe. It's in a fairly rural area. We have about 5,000 students here. And this is about 10% of our town, which is quite a small town. It's relatively easy to get here by air from Düsseldorf, Dortmund, Frankfurt, or Eindhoven in Holland. And our students get a travel ticket with part of their deal, so they can move in our state, but they can also get to the neighboring town, which is actually in Holland. That's the closest city to us. Yeah, okay. So most of our courses in our whole university are in English, but ours in our faculty is entirely in English. We don't have any other courses. This is a picture of our faculty stuff. We've also got new things in our faculty because our university is was only founded or built in 2011, founded in 2009. So some of our stuff, most of our stuff is still in fairly good condition. There aren't any chemistry labs on there, but the chemistry labs look kind of the same, but they look like chemistry labs in any university, except they're a bit cleaner and newer and don't smell quite as much, which is nice. It doesn't make them better, but it is nice. We have a good selection of equipment in our chemistry labs too, and a high proportion of supervision because we are a Fachhochschule, which is the equivalent of a polytechnic in other systems. The main difference in this case is that we have a higher supervisor to student ratio. Let's see what I've got. I think I'm going too fast, but never mind. So our planned study duration is 7 semesters, which is fairly standard. The EU standard is 6 or 7. It's in our town of 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘥, Bachelor of Science, and it starts in the winter term in English. We have a pre-internship that you can take at any time before you start semester 4. And we have a mid-internship, which can also be taken as a semester abroad. And then we have a thesis at the end. What else do I want to say here? Oh, our course has been changed recently to make it more focused on the subject. This has also brought in some things that we call focus fields, which are specializations. So we have effectively 3 courses in one. You study biomaterial science, but you study biomaterial science with biochemistry, which is kind of a chemistry-like one. Biomaterial science with materials engineering, which has more engineering courses, and one with management instead, where you can do mostly management courses. The extra courses are all management courses, which means that compared to what we had before, you don't have to do everything. You can select and focus a little bit more. The plan is that it's a bit easier to study. Our name is a little bit confusing because there isn't really a good definition. It's not a very fixed definition, particularly here in Germany. It means a completely different thing to what it does in England. So we have to define it ourselves, and we've defined it as these 4 things. Implant materials, which are materials that interact with the body. They're inside the body and they interact with it. Bio-derived materials, which are things that you take from nature. So in the simplest case, wood. But there are much more complicated ways of doing that. Biodegradable materials, which are materials that degrade in the environment, ideally in the interaction with biology. In the best case, something like a throwaway packaging that degrades on its own. Paper, for example, but technopaper. And bio-inspired materials have the structure of natural materials, but are not actually natural materials. Those are the set of the things that we've built our course around. And that is what we want to do. We want to focus more sharply on material science and chemistry and allow you to choose your focus. Oh, well, I didn't realize I'd put, I did put things in. Okay, so what are our unique selling points, or what is studying biomaterial science like anyway? It starts off as a fairly standard material science course that you might expect anywhere, with chemistry, materials engineering courses, just like you would everywhere. And you can balance that to your decision, whatever you prefer to do. You don't have to decide until one of the later semesters. The bio part comes in later with biology and interactions between the materials and biology. Why is it unique? That's what this slide is supposed to be about. Well, we have a breadth in material science and materials engineering, while including some biology. And we focus on the interface between materials and biology and the things that can happen. So in the most materialsy way, we would be making materials completely conventional materials for interaction with the body, and in the most chemistry way, we'd be cooking them, and in the most biology way, we would be looking at the interactions between the material and the biology. Our degree is unusual because material science is usually taught in an engineering department, and a very few of them are taught in chemistry departments. We don't have an engineering or a chemistry department. We're all together. This faculty is called Technology and Bionics, but we have a few chemistry people, we have a biologist, and we have 2 biologists and some engineers. And we are a small team that teach specifically biomaterial science. We don't really have a lot of courses in other things. Our take on biomaterial science is quite academic. Our students are quite successful at transferring to academic careers, or at least the ones that we had up till now. A reasonable proportion of them do a master's and carry on to a PhD. It's not normally what you would expect from people from a polytechnic, but it fits the new opportunities that we have today. My thing is printed really badly, but on a more esoteric level, the goal of our degree is to get our graduates to be able to do projects at the end, which is a transferable skill that can be used in many situations. In fact, if you view it abstractly, almost anything could be a project. So, for example, taking a degree, you could view as a project. But in a more practical level, a project would be make this thing or solve this science problem. As a side consideration, we're probably the most determinedly international university in Germany. It's not unique in Germany, but we are, as a university, we are quite international. Most of our degrees are only taught in English, and more than half of our students, closer to 2/3, are international. This allows us to offer a rare condition of being international and having no tuition fees, which you would, because you can get the same kind of internationality in other countries, but usually you would expect to pay quite high tuition fees in those. The other thing that's unique this time for you is that we will be the only course in our faculty that will be open to the next open session, just because of the way that courses have been changed. So this is our diagram of material science. Material science is an interdisciplinary subject between chemistry, physics, and engineering. So that's how it sits in there. That's a kind of standard diagram. And we like to add management and biology to that, or we put management in with engineering. We have quite a lot of lab work, and our students decide which things they want to focus on. They do that by choosing their focus field, but they also choose what project they want to do. We have 2 projects that you can take, which are full courses. You take a course, you take a project, you choose to do something, you make something, or you do a bit of science. Then you have an internship or a year abroad where you can go to another university or you go to a company, and your thesis can be anything, so you also choose that, or at least with any of us. Material science is already pretty interdisciplinary, but we're going to add biology to that. So I've taken some of the labels off and changed it into a tetrahedron instead of a triangle. If we imagine material science in the middle of that, or biomaterial science in the middle of that, that is where we're sitting. But we focus mostly on the chemistry and the materials engineering part with biology. We're not quite doing quite so much physics at the moment. Oh, interesting. I forgot a page. Oh yes, so to reiterate, our focus fields are electives, big electives, that they're actually 3 modules large, and they become part of the name of the degree when you finish. So effectively, you choose biomaterial science as an envelope, and you can come out with biomaterial science with biochemistry, biomaterial science with management, or biomaterial science with materials engineering. But there are also 2 free electives that can be any course at all, which could be a language, depending on what you want to do, or it could be a type of mathematics if you want to collect more math points, or it could be anything at all that the university offers. I have a picture of it here. This is our course content. It's probably massively confusing to start with because there's a lot of stuff in that, but it will eventually be on our website because we've changed it just recently. The old one is probably still up, but this one will be up fairly soon. What you can see is we start off in the first semester with general subjects, physics, chemistry, maths, sort of general subjects, and then focus on chemistry and material science in later semesters, going on to more biology subjects. So the biology names start to come in the 3rd semester. And we have these 3 electives which focus then on soft chemistry. So the green one, which is the biochemistry, biotechnology, supramolecular chemistry, smart functional materials, all chemistry subjects. The blue one is all engineering subjects, and the yellow one is all the management subjects. So you only take one of those set. You could theoretically take some of the others as your free electives. Okay, I'm going to hurry up. As your free electives, you get 2 free electives, which can be anything in the 6th semester. Okay, so this is an example, biocompatible materials, just a few pictures of things that you would implant into people. And obviously you can imagine those have to not do anything bad when they're inside the body. That's what we learned about. Then we have bio-sourced materials and also biodegradable materials, which aren't always the same thing. So we generate polymers from potatoes, for example, and it can also be biodegradable, but you can also make non-biodegradable things. Obviously, those of you who've experienced the new paper straw policy will know exactly what goes wrong when the thing that you want to degrade degrades at the wrong time. In that case, when you're drinking your McDonald's milkshake, the paper straw turns into crap. So what else do we have? Biomimetic materials. This is our natural materials, wood being strong in one direction, for example, with all the wood fibers, bone having a complex structure. And this kind of structure we can copy artificially, or at least partially, when we want to make materials of our own. But we also do some, well, I've got a lot of pages left, so better hurry up. We also do some classical material science, obviously, particularly things like lightweight construction, but general things like injection molding. And then one of our major focuses is sustainability and how that can be achieved and managed, because sustainability is something that typically starts with materials. The reason for that is that materials, or carrying heavy weights around, is a large part of energy use, water use, and other resources. And so dealing with that in a cleverer way feeds all the way back to material science. What do you do afterwards? Well, you can go on to do a master's. We have a master's in bionics, biomaterials. We have a lot of students have success getting into master's courses in other universities, but obviously they can go to work, and there are plenty of jobs in this part of the world. In this state, it's the classical place where you do material science, but you can also go back home to somewhere else and do it, or yet another place. And because the BSc is proper degree, you can start work immediately afterwards. Okay, some of our students go on to do a PhD. It's reasonably successful, but obviously at this point, you'd be more likely to be thinking of, yeah, maybe master would be the next step. You don't need to worry about that. There's 2 steps afterwards. Then we have a little bit of information. I don't know whether we had all of this beforehand. So here is our instructions, general instructions. Application is in the winter term. the deadline usually moves around, so you have to keep an eye on that. In order to enter, we have an entrance system which is on a portal Uni Assist, and they will ask you for your home qualifications and possibly, depending on what you've got, a little bit more. One of the things to be aware of is language qualification, because not obviously, but for various reasons, we may need to see some kind of proof of language qualification. You will probably be all right, but it's something that needs to be done. Okay, so money, more important thing, the money. We don't have tuition fees, but you do pay a semester fee. I haven't changed this slide, so it's probably a little bit more than that, but it's not much more than that. So you pay the semester fee, but it gives you some things, mostly entry into the student sports. It's not a lot of money, so you don't get a lot of things, but the main thing is this free ticket, which allows you to get on public transport, not the fast trains, but the normal trains, and go in all over the state. And it's a big state with a lot of cities in it. It's got a number of 500,000 cities that are not huge, but they're easy to get to, and it's free for you, easy to travel around. And as I said, you can get to Holland on ours, because we've got a special bus. They've got a special bus. This is the more general pick, so that's for everybody. This is a sort of suggestion that so we don't guarantee a dormitory place, but we do have some. And this number of 850 euros a month is a sort of estimate. It's a guesstimate. You might get away a bit cheaper than that because we are quite rural. So it's generally for Germany, and that includes all of the towns and cities where obviously life is a lot more expensive. We're quite rural, so it's okay. Okay. Well, did I go too fast then at the end? I probably did. So that would be all I had. I can always go back and do something else.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Professor, for your presentation. Great, fantastic. And now let us move to our next speaker. We have two more speakers, and then we'll have a short Q&A session. Just as a reminder, dear attendees. So Uni Bayreuth we are moving to, and we will talk about Dr. Hendrik Bagel will talk about MSc, Master of Science program in biofabrication. So
welcome from my side. My name is Hendrik Bagel. Together with Professor Thomas Scheibel, we are responsible for an international master study program, which is called biofabrication. And to set you a bit into the scene, where we are and what we do, a short introduction about the profile of the University of Bayreuth. It will celebrate the 50th anniversary next year. So it's not yet 50 years old. So it's rather a young university. It has right now 7 faculties, roughly 13,000 students, and some 270 professors. We have 2 campuses, one main campus in Bayreuth and a satellite campus in Kulmbach, where the 7th faculty about health and nutrition is currently built up. Interdisciplinarity is one of the university strengths since the very beginning, and we have an interfaculty research team and created some centers, and these are devoted for focus areas and also interfaculty teaching programs, for example, in economics or in engineering. We are continuously ranked in a very high range. So, for example, by the Times Higher Education ranking of young universities below 50 years old, we have been ranked place 59th out of the world's top 970 universities younger than 50. In the Nature Index of Young Universities 2021, we ranked the 19th place, and in a German ranking system done by the Zentrum für Hochschulentwicklung, we are one of the top universities in Germany, for example, in the field of engineering, dated back to 2022. The University of Bayreuth has a strategy and a commitment on diversity, and this is especially for international students quite interesting. We have a high appreciation and promotion for diversity, equitable opportunities for studying and participation for everyone, and we try to eliminate and prevent disadvantages and discrimination. What is probably even more interesting, we have an international office since years, and this is part of an internationalization strategy, and also it helps a lot with information and help for incoming and also outgoing students and mobility services. So on the study program, biofabrication, you already heard a bit by the colleague of 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘥𝘪𝘯𝘨 University on biomaterial science and material development, and biofabrication is kind of a bit of alike. It connects disciplines, mostly between engineering science and life sciences and material science. So biofabrication is right in the center of classical engineering science, life sciences, and material science in order to generate new technologies, new materials that, with the help of cells, of living cells and matrices, we would like to produce functional tissue constructs that would help, for example, in tissue engineering approaches to cure diseases and to cure people from health problems. So you see in the engineering science, we have bioengineering, biomaterials, surface technologies, polymer processing, and then in the life science and material science part, we have tissue engineering, polymer materials, supramolecular chemistry, cell culture, and for example, drug depot and delivery. And that all is part of biofabrication. So our study program, Master Biofabrication, is planned for a 4-semester schedule. And this is the first part of your module overview. I will guide you quickly through that. We do have 2 mandatory starting off modules. One is, or topics, would rather call that. One is biofabrication, and the second one is biomaterials. So for those who plan to start in the winter term, biofabrication would be the first topic to choose, and then in summer term, it would be biomaterials as a mandatory topic. And within these 2 topics, we have 2 mandatory modules for biofabrication. It's the module biofabrication and cell biology, plus you can choose out of 3 core elective modules. And for biomaterials, it's more or less the same structure, but you have a higher diversity to choose from core elective modules. So first you would take biomaterials module and medical implant engineering module as mandatory, and then you can choose elective modules. And right now we've split it up 2 routes. You may choose either route 1, this is for tissue engineering, or route 2, process engineering. And to show you this in a bit more detail, right now I'm showing you the one for the summer term topics, which is upcoming. So in route 1, in blue, right now you may choose 2 out of these 5 modules, for example, polymer testing and modeling, or computational aided engineering, for example. And then you should also choose one of the green highlighted ones from the route 2, which is called tissue engineering. So for example, bioengineering for tissue regeneration. Or alternatively, you choose route 2 as your main route. Then you can choose 2 out of these green ones. So for example, bioengineering for tissue regeneration and simulation of materials, and then you go back and choose one of these blue ones. Okay, so you see there's quite a variety of modules that can be chosen. And for the winter term biofabrication, it looks like this. It's only one route, so you do not have this big of options, but you can choose then 3 out of these blue ones. So for example, biotechnology or self-assembling biopolymers or bio-inspired surfaces, just to choose some examples. But you are allowed to choose any of these 5. The second part is then from the 3rd semester on, you should choose the advanced modules, and to the advanced modules, you may choose the summer academy, which is held here in Bayreuth with international support from partners all over the world. And then you may choose either you do 3 advanced modules at the University of Bayreuth, or you do 1 international advanced module, which equivalents these 3 advanced modules. So usually the idea is from the students coming into Germany, so coming from abroad, they do the 3 advanced modules at the university. And the ones that apply from Germany or from Europe, they may move to an international outbound partner institute. And then we have the part of transferable skills, which contains a module on scientific working and management training and entrepreneurship, or right now it is called innovation management. Sorry for that. And finally, you do your master thesis at the end, usually in the 4th semester. And in the end, then you have 120 ECTS. The advanced modules and the master thesis you can do at any of one of these groups. I'm not going through them at all, but you see, as the Master Biofabrication program is an engineering program, mostly the groups that are part of the Faculty of Engineering Science are allowed to be chosen. But moreover, we have also partners of other faculties, for example, biochemistry, biology, or physics. And you see here the respective people that you may then approach. And for example, you can go for one of the 3 advanced modules to one of these groups without any problems, because they have been partnered to the program. The side notion, we have very state-of-the-art equipped laboratories, and one of these laboratory environment at the University of Bayreuth is the Bavarian Polymer Institute, which is actually a connection between University of Bayreuth, University of Erlangen, and University of Würzburg. And there have been specific laboratories set up as so-called key laboratories, and you may use these key laboratories as part of your curriculum. Not only that, I mentioned for the international advanced module, you may also reach out to one of our international partners. We assembled some of them here. For example, in Europe, we have partners in Netherlands, in France, and in Spain. In Asia, we have partners in Thailand. In the US, we have, for example, the Tufts University and colleagues there as partners. And in Australia, we have several universities centered around University of Melbourne. And in addition, we have even more partners that may be contacted. Our admission is twice a year. So one for the summer term, which is already done, and one from the upcoming winter term. And it's always 15th of June for the winter term and 30th of November for the summer term. We have a two-stage process. The first stage is you hand in all your written application, including a transcript of record, a motivation letter, degree, certificates you already have, and a certificate of industrial experiences and something like that. And the second stage would be an aptitude assessment process to select the ones that really fit into the process for the program. You may find the details at our program website, biofabrication.uni-bayreuth.de. Everything is in English. And of course, we also have Uni Assist services for everything that is outside Europe. I think it's rather common right now. And the details you can find at the homepages. In a very short glance, the admission stage 1 would include you have a background in either material science, engineering science, or functional materials, or any equivalent study program to that, since the master program biofabrication is an engineering curriculum. In addition, you need an UniCert level B2 in English because it's an English taught study program. And since you would come to Germany, it also makes some sense to have a basic knowledge in German language. So you need an UniCert level A1 in German. In addition, you need an internship in industry, which either you have already done or you can do while enrolled in our study program. And the second stage would then be the aptitude assessment process. And there are at least, 3 ways. The 2 ways which are a bit more special. One, you have a direct admission, since you are amongst of the top 10% of your finished study program. Second, we have set up a massive open online course, so-called MOOC, on biomaterials and biofabrications, design, engineering, and innovation. It's on the EDX platform, and it's done by the UBT. And you can, at the end, do a certificate. And with this certificate, you also have a direct admission to the program. The third version is you have a finished study program with an overall grade of 3.5 or better. That means C. And then you step into an aptitude assessment process, which is a 20 minutes oral exam, usually done online on the aspects like engineering and mechanics, organic chemistry, physical chemistry, biochemistry, biology for engineers, and a bit of polymer engineering. And then after this interview, the decision will be finally pass or fail, and you will be sent out written confirmations of that. That's so far for the study program. It's not only about content, it's not only about studying and learning. It is also about student life, and there are some activities which we picked out here right now for you for interest. So, for example, at our engineering faculty, we have a summer festival, including a tug of war, where the different groups battle against each other and then win some prizes. Usually it's a bit of beer. We have several parties, including music and dancing, that's on campus. We even have a president that is named DJ President, and usually he plays then some music later in the night. Maybe Bayreuth is known for its active cultural life. And so, for example, this Richard Wagner Festspielhaus, it's internationally renowned, and 6 weeks in summer We have the city full of international music lovers that would like to attend the operas. And of course, we have a lively nightlife to check out different activities. Before I would like to thank you for the interest, I would like to switch to a very short movie. It's a teaser of our MOOC on this EDX. And I would just quickly play this. It's 2.5 minutes, and then I'm done.
What is biofabrication? Why is spider silk so precious? And what can you do with expert knowledge in the field?
Biofabrication is an engineering discipline at the close border to biology. So what do? We simultaneously process materials and cells in order to regenerate, for instance, tissue, like skin. We make skin replacements. And for that, we need some examples from nature. Spiders provide us with exciting materials that can be used together with cells in order to get new tissue.
The University of Bayreuth is offering the first biofabrication MOOC on edX. Biomaterials and Biofabrication, Design, Engineering and Innovation, stemming from our corresponding master program.
My name is Professor Thomas Scheibel. I'm the head of Department of Biomaterials, and I'm the study program coordinator of the master study program Biofabrication.
This MOOC leads you through a storyline of 6 interactive episodes where you follow Emma and Paul, our fictional characters, as they explore the world of biomedical engineering.
What we created is a mini-series of videos with actors where we transport our ideas of biofabrication to a broader audience.
We start by presenting different types of biomaterials, followed by defining hydrogels as a preparation for industrial and medical use. With that knowledge, we then dive into additive manufacturing, tissue engineering, and bioreactors. This gives you all the ingredients you need to print an organ. But how do you do that? Of course, you will get an answer to that question and also learn how to test your 3-dimensional bioproduct. In the last episode, we addressed the future of biofabrication, its potentials, and possible bioethical implications. You will learn from international field experts who present highly engaging, application-oriented content that will sharpen your theoretical and practical skills. You will get key insights into the research at the University of Bayreuth and the excellent equipment that is available. So, are you curious about technology and innovation in the medical sector? Then enroll now in the MOOC Biomaterials and Biofabrication, Design, Engineering and Innovation, offered by the University of Bayreuth.
And with this, I would like to thank you. And this is the final slide where you also can find the web pages and also an email address if you would like to seek further information. We would be happy to welcome you in Bayreuth, and thank you for listening.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Bargel, for your presentation and for all the details provided, and for the video also. It was really nice. Let me now invite to the floor our last speaker for today.
Welcome to this event for the Master Optical Technologies. So I'm from Leibniz University, Hannover. So we will come back to this video at the end. So just a little bit about the city Hannover. So Lower Saxony is one of the biggest states in Germany, and Hannover is the capital of it. It is also known as the city of trade fairs, because we have the biggest messe here happening every year, like whole time in the year. And it is also called the Green City because we have the biggest city forest, and also the city of royals because of the kings. That's what I said as Stadtwald, so that's like city forest. So normally you have like city in the middle, forest around it, but we are opposite. So we have like forest in the middle and city along it, and it's 2 times bigger than a central park. So we also have the world's biggest marksman festival, and also the Henhausen Garden. So that's here. So those were used to be the King's Garden. And that's how it's look like from the above of our Rathaus. So that's our new town hall. And Hanover is well known as an international city. So who I am? So I'm Manmeet Singh. I'm the program coordinator. From the background, I also have from optical technologies with a specialization in biophotonic. So that's a field where the laser is integrated into the biofabrication and also in the field of medicine. So that's my research field. A bit over the university profile. So Leibniz University is one of the TU9 university. So TU9 university are the top 9 universities in Germany. We have over 29,000 students, which come around over 119 countries, and we have 150 institutes. So this is our international core research areas, quantum optics, gravitational physics, along with the optical technologies, and also the biomedical research and engineering. So this I'm not mentioning just because we are presenting here the optical technologies, the master program. We will come back to this topic, why it is. Later on, you will get to know. So this is our one of the main campus. So that looks like Schloss also. Actually, it was built as a palace by a king, but never used. So then it converted into the university. And this is our newly built mechanical campus also in Hanover. So it's one of the like modern campus in the whole Germany. So I brought some pictures to just find out what do they have in common. So these are 4 pictures, and this one is our autonomous vehicle, which goes from like work as a shuttle service. So this is something that looks like a laser cutting or a laser welding. Then we have colorful mouses. I mean, if you're from a medical field, you know this is an application of optics where where the fluorescence is given to the mouses to mark, which is like normally in the field of medical, you can use this technique to mark the cancer cells, which can also be later on or in a research, it can be used to trace through the laser. And this here is a very famous circus in Germany called the Roncalli circus. So in 2019, they decided not to use living animals anymore, so they use a hologram. So basically these 4 are major applications of optics, of lasers in our daily life, which we can see around us. And this is another slide with something more. So this first picture, it looks like a glass something. Maybe if you have watched Netflix series called Stranger, I think. So they have this episode where you can record everything in your eyes. So in this, you cannot record anything in your eyes, but this whole product is called Argus. So it's a company which uses the optics to help the blind people to see it as the FDA allows them. So you get an implant in your eyes, and here through the laser, everything is reflected into the eyes. So that's how it works. And they have, I think, 3 generation of models. But in Europe, I think only till model 2 is allowed. This is again the Nemo, our shuttle service autonomous vehicle. So this is a SATCOM, which is normally used to communicate with the satellites. And this is one of the events that we have in Hanover every year, where the major buildings of Hanover are connected using the laser to mark an evening. So now let's move into the master program optical technologies. I think if you will be scanning the QR codes along with, you will land on a very important web pages over during the whole slide. So our study program is divided into 2 main parts. So you have like main optical technologies, then we have German taught program, and we have English taught program. So in German taught program, we have further 2 classes, like if someone is coming from a physics background and if someone is coming from a mechanical background or engineering background, because optics or laser, it's used in both fields very much. So that's why, to bring everyone on a same level, we have further 2 parts in a German program. And in an English taught program, we have 1 part photonics and laser technology. So these are 5 different specialization fields which we have, in which you can choose this as an optional module under like optische Messtechnik. So that's an optical measurement technique, where the most of the applications of the laser measurement are used in satellite. We have laser measurement technologies. So in that field, then we have laser technology. That's the second one, laser technique. So where basically everything that has to do basically with the laser is discussed. And we have biophotonic, as I mentioned. Here you go and learn more about the field where laser is integrated into medical. Then we have technical optic and Anwendung in Fahrzeug, so like in automobile industry. And then we have optics in production and energy technique. So in this field, basically the laser that is used in production and energy. So we have all three parts. So I'll go one by one. So first one, so that's one for the students who are coming with a physics background, and this is a German taught. So here the curriculum looks very simple. So we have like 4 compulsory modules. If you see, these all modules are from mechanical background. Because that will help the students coming from physics background to have a knowledge from a mechanical to be on a same level of someone coming from a mechanical background. So similarly, yeah. So if we see for the mechanical engineers, so they also have 3 compulsory modules, and all 3 are from a physics background to have everyone on the same level with the same knowledge so that they can start really into the optional modules and in the compulsory optional modules. Moving to the English taught program, photonic and laser technology. So here we have like 4 compulsory modules to bring everyone on the same level. So we have design and simulation of optomechatronic system. So in this field, we discuss more about the optics, the use of optics in the automobile, where we discuss also the softwares like CMAX. Then we have photonics. Photonics plays as a basic course for everything, for every option that you have in optional modules, because in photonics, we discuss the basics of optics. We have optical measurement technology, which help to set a base if you want to go further in the field of like in satellite communication or in the space industry, or also in the field of production. Then we have laser spectroscopy in life sciences, which also set as a base for your biophotonic field if you want to go further in biophotonic or to go in the field of biomedical technology. Yeah, and then you have 35 credits of optional modules. We have a really wide range of optical modules in every of these 5 specializations, and which you can do it over the period of time. Then we have master labs where you go, we have like 5 different labs, including AI and also the augmented reality, where the students go perform their experiments and then it's done. At the 3rd semester, you will have an internship. So that's like a compulsory internship where we motivate the students to go out in the industry to find and to look how the things are working. Because I always say school is a different world, university is a different world, and industry is completely different world. So in this internship, the students go to the industry, they know how the industry works, how the labs looks like on a professional level, and how actually the things works. And then you have a student project. So that's also like we call it like a small thesis, where you work on a project for a time period of 3 months. And after 3 months, you submit a report, and also you do a presentation. And this project can either be done in industry, or we have a very vast, big list of institutes at the university and research centers where you can really go and work. Then we have Studium Generale, or also called tutorial. So this is something very like unique what we have under this program, under this module of 4 credits. You are allowed to take any course from the Leibniz University. So Leibniz University offer like 30,000 modules. So under this module, you can take anything. Like if you say, okay, I'm interested in this one module from Faculty of Law, which I think might be helpful to me further in my career, you can have that module under the Studium Generale. Or you say, okay, no, I want to learn German language further because it will help me later to find an internship or thesis. No problem. We have our like Leibniz University have their own language school, so you can always go and learn the language. If you say, no, I don't like to learn German or maybe Spanish, no problem. Like they teach 20 different languages, and you can always be a part of a language course. And also, this is just like a master curriculum because in polytechnic colleges, you have a very strict number of semesters, but in university, you can extend it as much as you can. So like you can also do like you do three courses in this semester, and then you do rest here, so you can extend it. Yeah, if you want to have a look on our course catalog, so these are the QR codes which will take you to the course catalog of German track and also of English track. So that these course catalogs, it consists of all module names, all description of the courses, what will be taught in which course, and so that you can have an idea, okay, I have an option to go in this field, I can go in this field. So that something is, so from my perspective or from our perspective, we think it's really important to look into. So here I brought up like a perspective blick, what you can do. So it's a very basic concept of physics, white light going into a 7 different. So we say that this prism is your master in which you do a lab work, research, internship, lecture, excursion, also soft skill and also networking, scientific working, yeah, sure. And then you have an option to go in automobile industry, medical industry, imaging industry, like in field of camera. So we have our students who passed and working in a companies like 𝘗𝘪𝘵, Nikon, Canon, and also you can go in like space industry. So we have students working in DLR, so that's like a German space organization. So they're working there. We have students working with the SpaceX, also with the Tesla, or you can also go in entertainment industry. Like one of my friend, he works in a IMAX. So that's like a new art of cinema, or in a communication industry. Or if you say, no, I don't want to go in industry, I want to do research further. Yeah, sure. We have a number of research institutes. We have an excellence cluster just for optics. That's called PhoenixD. So excellence cluster is like a cluster where only the research is done. So that's very strongly supported by the government. And so that's also, we have it here at the University Hannover. If you remember at the starting of my presentation, I said our international core research topics are biomedical engineering and also the optics. Because we have very well-renowned research institutes, we have Laserzentrum Hannover or Laser Center Hannover, which is very well known and also have a cooperation with the best known companies when it comes to field of laser. We have cooperation with the Trump, we have with Courant, and also we have Production Center Hannover, where 22 different institutes sit with their specializations, like in the field of ETA. So one of the institute is ETA, which just specialize in automation with the laser cutting, laser welding, also with the 3D printing of the laser. Then we also have institutes like EQO, Institute of Quantum Optic, which I think the name says it all. They also have some projects like quantum clock, and also with like gravitational waves. And also, so we have one group who works on one of the moon project, like project for a spaceship going to the moon, and also the 3D printing there, also in the field of agriculture. So because basically laser is like a phone for the industry. Then we also have KNIFE. So KNIFE is like government research institute when it comes to biomedical engineering or implant research and development. That's where I did my research. So here in KNIFE, so not only the Leibniz University sit, there are also research groups from medical school sits and also from others. So they work together to build new technology in the field of medicine, like lab-on-chip technology or silicon implants with the more effective of laser or coherent implants. So we have like very good funded projects like Hearing for All, which is for a collinear implant in the ears. And then the upcoming new thing, what we at moment building is Opticum. So like in future, the optics will have their own campus. So this will be like a optics university center and campus for the students. So it also will be, I shown you the mechanical campus. So similarly, there will be big optical campus, so everyone can work at one place. Yeah, with the Leibniz University around the world, is like during your study, you have an option to go in the other country to do like exchange semester. So we have a partnership with 170 universities all over the world. You say, okay, I want to go to Kyoto University, no problem, you can have there 6 months. If you say, no, I want to go to US, no problem, we have it there. Or you say, no, I would love to go in Spain, we have also cooperation there. So we have the cooperations with 170 universities all over the world. So what only thing is like you tell one semester before so that everything can be planned. So there will be learning agreement that which courses you will be taking there, and then you're ready to go. Admission requirements, the main thing. So we are like non-NC. So this course is non-NC, so like there is no grade requirement. So what academic requirement we have is the bachelor in engineering and a bachelor in physics. So that's one basic requirement. Then language requirement, we need C1 level certificate. And there are a list of certificates. If you will be scanning this QR code, you will get on a page where all the list is given, like also the score of TOEFL is given, but it has to be C1 level because we love to concentrate on a quality instead of doing the quantity thing. Then to the ECTS requirement, the credit requirements, what we have is if you are coming from an engineering background, we wish that you have 15 credit points in mathematics, 15 in technical and mechanic, so 27 credits in a combination of electronics, material science, design, or construction, and 8 from either optics or physics. So that's for the students coming from engineering background. And then we have the students coming from physics background. So from them, we wish like 15 credits in mathematics, 5 in technical mechanics, and 45 credits in field of physics and optics. If you like to read the official document or of German, as they call it, Zulassungsordnung, so we have original here available in German language and also the translation. So translation version is just to understand the German document. At the end of the day, legally only the German document is valid. So the application period will be for the summer semester, which just went is for 15th October till 30th November. And for the winter semester, it will be from 15th of April till 30th of May. And it will be applied through, like if you are coming outside of European Union, then you have to apply it through UniAssist. And 30th May, because, and we will be like sending out the admission letters till the end of or till the mid of June, so that you have a lot of time to prepare with your visa appointments and all the requirements just to have a good start in Hanover. So we have a like team, which we call it Team OT, Team Optical Technologies. So if you will be scanning this QR code, it will be saved as an contact in your phone. So all queries, you can always write us at opticaltechnologies@maschinenbau.uni-hannover.de. If you like to stay in touch, so we have our social media from the faculty. So it's called Maschinenbau. So mechanical engineering is called Maschinenbau _ LUH. That's Leibniz University Hannover. And these are like some of our students who passed and working in a very good companies. So that's again a slide for our questions. And I would like to go back to the video just before I end. The video is in German, but it shows you a blick into everything you are waiting in the course.
Licht ist so faszinierend wie rätselhaft. Es ist die wichtigste Lebensgrundlage der meisten Lebewesen und besitzt zugleich die Kraft, Moleküle aufzuspalten. Ohne Licht gäbe es keine Photosynthese und es hat Einfluss auf deine Stimmung. Aber Licht kann noch mehr. Es ist pure Energie. Energie, mit der man Materialien vom Blatt Papier bis zur zentimeterdicken Stahlplatte verdampfen und schneiden kann. Nachhaltige Energie, die sich mittels leistungsstarker Photovoltaik in Strom verwandeln lässt und die von innovativen Leuchtmitteln hocheffizient wieder in Licht zurückverwandelt wird. Präzise Bearbeitung von Materialien mittels Lasern schont Ressourcen. In der Produktion oder Medizin sind die Anwendungen von Licht potenziell grenzenlos. Laser zeigen uns den Weg, übertragen ganze Kinofilme in Sekundenschnelle um die Welt und darüber hinaus. Es bedarf kluger und kreativer Köpfe, die die entsprechenden Technologien entwickeln, um Licht nutzbar zu machen. Der Studiengang Optische Technologien, Laser und Photonik verbindet abseits starrer Disziplingrenzen verschiedene wissenschaftliche Zweige miteinander. Die richtige Basis für deine Tätigkeit in einer der Schlüsseltechnologien des 21. Jahrhunderts.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was from my side. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Manmet, for your presentation. And so, dear attendees, because we are now limited in time, and dear guests, let me ask you one general question to each of you, and then we can call it a day. Let me start with you, Manmet, maybe.
Yeah.
Regarding the educational certificates, for example, it often happens that students at the time of the application, for example, do not have their, for example, language certificates yet ready, or educational certificate is not there yet, although they have already completed their studies, for example. Can they still apply and provide these required certificates, 1 or 2, whatever it is, a bit later before enrollment, or is the strict limitation in terms of timing?
You mean the certificate of language or the bachelor certificate?
Exactly. In your case, yes.
So the language certificate is something that, so we say that if you have, so there are two cases normally. So some students who have like written the test but have B2 level, so they want to rewrite it. So what they can do is they can apply with the B2 plus the registration to the C1. So not only with B1, B2 plus the registration to C1, so they can apply if they get admission. So at the time of enrollment, they have to show the C1 certificate. So if they will not have it, so their admission will be canceled. So like we do not have any admission transfer to next semester, or so that's why it will be canceled and they have to reapply. Yeah.
Okay. And in case of this bachelor, let's say if the bachelor is in preparation, can they apply with this bachelor?
So with the bachelor is like if they have a provisional certificate, they can apply. Because in case of international students, I think if you haven't completed your bachelor, you do not get a visa. So so that's one thing. So they have to complete the bachelor before coming to the Germany. But like we are open, if you have more than 150 credits, you can apply for a program.
Okay, clear. Thank you very much, Mehmet, for your clear answers. Professor Borner, what would you say?
Okay, we require B2 English. We don't need any German certificate, but B2 English. And that you need to show at the time of your application. So because you cannot do the test afterwards. The whole admission procedure at the university requires B2 and also requires at least a bachelor certificate.
Okay.
For international students, it's the same thing. They don't get a visa without a bachelor certificate.
All right, clear. Thank you very much. Dr. Bagel?
Yeah.
So yeah, the same question for you. What would you say?
It's almost the same that Professor Börner and Mahmoud said. So you usually have a completed bachelor program and bachelor certificate. That means 150 ECTS. You may apply while you still have not finished your bachelor, but then again, you need some time for the visa. And that's why we have our admission deadlines in June and in November in order to give enough time to apply for the visa. And as already stated, visa, as long as I know, are only handed out and supplied if a full bachelor degree has been earned.
Okay, great. And Professor Shitcliffe, yeah, in your case, for example, if there is high school diploma, for example, is still in preparation, or language certificates, again, what would you say?
So because it's a bachelor, it's slightly different, but we have the same problem or same issue, but we don't have very much freedom to allow the students to submit it later. It has to be submitted to, we go through Uni Assist. I think one of the other people did as well, just to make sure that that goes through. UniAssist is an external company. It does cost money, but you only have to pay them once, and then you can apply to several universities at the same time. So for those not a master's and a bachelor, but our master and their master, you could both apply to those and only pay once.
Okay.
But then they run the whole thing.
Mhm.
And we don't control that. So they need to check. They check the language certificate, which in our case is B2, and they check the end of school.
Yeah.
We have not yet got a solution to what you're aiming at, which is, for example, UK schools which don't have their results before the end. We haven't yet managed to solve that problem.
Okay, clear. Great. Maybe one more very short question, and then I promise that's all, because we talked too much about, we mentioned these language certificates, right? B2, C1, etc. Let me ask you this popular question. If the previous studies, like undergraduate studies or school, high school, was done fully in English, will you accept this as a replacement for TOEFL or IELTS certificate, or you will still demand or require this certificate? Maybe Professor Shortcliffe, let's start with you.
Okay, so we start with ours. We do accept. So if your school was in English, we accept it. We have a list of countries where English is the sort of standard language, and we accept that. Most EU countries, so not Germany, obviously, because that would be internal, but most EU countries have a certain amount of English at school, and we count that as well for our bachelor, at least.
Okay.
So you don't have to do an extra certificate if you did like school level English in Germany or school level English in Norway. It counts as enough. For our masters, you have to come with a certificate.
All right, clear. Thank you very much. Dr. Bargel?
Yeah. It's an interesting question. So far, I can remember in the study regulations that the language certificate for English is needed, but I'm pretty sure that at the admission process, the same applies that Mr. Shortcliffe just mentioned for Rhein-Waal. So if everything has been done already in English, and it is a fluent speaker, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, great. Professor Borna?
The same here. So if the studies were in English, or if the country is an English-speaking country, like India, for example, or most African countries have actually the studies in English, if it's not French, and we accept that. So they don't need to show certificate. And as we heard before, for example, in Sweden, in Norway, in Holland, in the Netherlands, there are a lot of studies in English. So they just have to show that it was in English.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. And Malmet?
In our case, it's opposite. We do not accept any mode of instruction or certificate, so they have to present C1. And also, as far as country is concerned, so the countries with the mother tongue as English, we accept this, but not the countries with the national language English. So that's two different things. So like, as Professor mentioned, like from India, yeah, they speak English, but it's not the mother tongue, so they have to show the certificate. So it will be C1 certificate, and there will be no mode of instruction certificate will be accepted. Yeah.
Okay, clear. Thank you very much, dear guests, for staying so long, for your presentations and for answering all the questions. Thanks, attendees, for your interest and for tuning in. With that, we can finish the webinar. Thank you and have a nice rest of the day. Take care and bye-bye.
Thank you.